to the evening news. I am Kayode Adebayo. President Muhammadu Buhari has urged Nigerians to support the armed forces and other security agencies for their patriotic roles to secure the country. The president made the appeal during a special Jumat service held at the National Mosque, Abuja, to mark this year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day. President Buhari, represented by the Senate President Ahmad Lawal, said that the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and other security agencies are working hard to ensure that the country is secure and safe. He further stated that it is the duty of citizenry to always pray for law enforcement agents and to give them the kind of support that they need. The president urged Nigerians not to rate themselves by what outsiders tell them. Rather, they should copy what is good in other countries and leave out what is bad. In another development, President Muhammadu Buhari has directed speedy action to facilitate the establishment of a world-class transformer production plant in Nigeria to accelerate stable power supply. The Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Professor Muhammad Haruna, disclosed this to newsmen in Abuja after he briefed the President on the agency's third quarter report from July to September 2022 with focus on its activities and finances. He further disclosed that the transformer production plant is in collaboration with China Great Wall Industry Corporation of China. Haruna said the project for the establishment of transformer manufacturing plants in the country is delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic in China. He said the plant, when established, will produce between 6.5 and 10 megawatts transformers of all sizes and different capacity to meet local demands and Nigerian standards. The Central Bank of Nigeria has ordered deposit money banks not to pay customers making over-the-counter withdrawals of new Naira notes again. The Apex Bank, however, directed the banks to load their automated teller machines with only new notes to ensure that the currency circulates across the nation ahead of the January 31, 2023 deadline, when the old notes will no longer be legal tender. It was gathered that the Apex Bank issued the directive to the banks and ordered that the implementation must begin immediately, and the commercial banks have a mandate to evacuate 1 billion Naira old notes each to the CBN on a daily basis. The memo, which was titled Urgent Update on Currency Redesign and signed by the Group Head, Retail Operations, stated the CBN has mandated that the banks immediately stop the over-the-counter payment of the new 200, 500 and 1,000 Naira notes currency. Instead, all new notes should be loaded into the ATMs for customer withdrawals. President Muhammadu Buhari's new fiscal policy through cashless policy is capable of reshaping the socio-economic dimension in the country and as well go a long way at fighting corruption and crimes, especially kidnapping for ransom. A financial expert, Mr. Osbc Balogun, dropped the hint shortly after featuring on Osbc TV Current Affairs program Saturday Morning Treat, SMT. He speaks further.
I think the main focus of the government introducing cashless policy is to even reduce crime. When they kidnap anybody now, they say come and pay so millions. They take that money to the bush. That money is not working for the economy. That money, but with the introduction of cashless policy, even if you want to pay ransom and you're asked to transfer money, that transfer is traceable, and they can trace it and get to where the money, or they can even stop that person from withdrawing such money. So it's of huge benefit to us as a Nigerian.
On the rising debt profile of Nigeria, Mr. Balogun said borrowing will be better if it is channeled towards developmental projects such as agriculture, education, security, and welfare of the people. According to him, Nigerians should ask questions about the spending of money borrowed by their representatives in government. He speaks again.
Deficit budgeting can assist the government in the area of doing all developmental efforts. For example, construction of road, rail system, and other things. Those are what they can use the money on. But the issue is that money, they are going to source it from somewhere. And when they source it from somewhere, it means they are going to pay a kind of interest or whatever that money. It will make that money to be increasing. But if the money is well utilized, if it's judicially spent, that money can create money to repay such debt.
Governor of Borno State, Professor Babangida Zulum, has assured that there will be no cause for alarm conducting the upcoming general elections in the state, as the security situation has already improved to 90% stability. Professor Zulum gave the assurance while speaking to state journalists after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He also gave a progress report on the rehabilitation and resettlement process for the internally displaced persons in the state. Speaking on the security situation in the state, Zulum said, though there is no place without some level of security challenge, Borno State government had received support from the federal government and the military, adding that much progress had been made at restoring the state to its former peaceful state. He pointed out that eligible voters can cast their votes on election day, as workable security apparatus have been put in place to forestall lawlessness in the state. Endorsement of a candidate, either by a group or individual, is an exercise of right, which does not determine the victory of such candidates in the election. A political scientist, Mr. Lekan Ogunyemi, stated this shortly after playing a guest on Osbc TV Current Affairs program Saturday Morning Treat. According to him, the Nigerian bigwigs will do better if they can concentrate on playing the role of national leaders instead of throwing their weight behind a particular political camp. He speaks.
Job is being regarded as an elder statesman that should try as much as possible to work together, to harmonize, to synchronize all the political or the divergent views of the political aspirant and bring them to the table and tell Nigerians these are the things they want to do. You can organize just like Abubakar is doing. He has a peace movement in Nigeria. Before the election, they have to sign. Then you have Gowon praying for Nigeria. I think Obasanjo, rather than coming up with one candidate or the other today, he should find a way. He has the wherewithal. He can call all of them, come to Abeokuta. I want to say that all the presidents will be present there. Bring all the academia, bring all the captains of industries in Nigeria. Let them educate this aspirant how to go about it, how to solve the problems of Nigeria. As for the security, bring all the service chiefs and what have you, let them discuss.
And now, moving to sports. Amajam Yaya from Taraba State and a police inspector, Otuoma Chidinma from Abia State, have emerged winners in both male and female categories in the 5th Opobo Marathon. They each went home with the sum of 250,000 naira, while second and third positions in both male and female categories got 150,000 naira and 100,000 naira respectively. In the male category, homeboy Clinton Toby came second with Maria Ahmed trailing behind, while another homegirl, Victory Toby, finished second in the female race with Princess Anete coming third. Speaking at the end of the race, both Yahaya and Atuoma expressed satisfaction with their performances, saying it was a reward for months of practice and endurance. They disclosed that they were visiting Opobo for the first time and that the marathon gave them the opportunity to know the ancient kingdom. And now, on the foreign scene, a Republican lawmaker, Kevin McCarthy, has been named Speaker of the United States House of Representatives, as he finally quelled a fierce rebellion among his party's ranks that had paralyzed the lower chamber of Congress for days. It was reported that McCarthy was always the front runner to lead the Republican-led House, but his victory in the small hours of the morning was almost derailed by a right-wing revolt in his party that extended the contest to a historic 15 rounds of voting. The Speaker wields huge influence in Washington by presiding over House business and is second in line to the presidency after the Vice President. McCarthy had been hoping to secure the gavel in the 14th round, but suffered a shock defeat amid astonishing scenes of Republican infighting as he came up short by just one vote out of more than 400 cast. The Republicans who hold a razor-thin majority had been mired in internecine warfare as McCarthy failed to win a majority in multiple ballots. with around 20 conservative hardliners blocking his path. But the 57-year-old Caledonian was able to pick up more than a dozen votes among the defectors in 2 voting rounds after covering major concessions. And that ends the evening news on Osbc TV. Please join us at 7 for major report. Good evening.